Hey, and welcome back. Today we are going to start looking at chapter 13, which is about chemical bonding. The first section we're going to talk about tonight, or the only section we're talking about, is electrons and chemical bonding. The first thing you need to understand is that atoms combine by forming ionic, covalent, and metallic bonds. Throughout this chapter, we're going to talk about each type of bonds and how they bond. First, let's look at how atoms combine through chemical bonding. Chemical bonding is the joining of atoms to form new substances. After bonding, the properties of the new substances are different than the properties of the elements that come together in the bond. We talked about that in chapter 4 as well as chapter 2 with chemical changes. Chemical bonds form whenever valence electrons are shared, gained, or lost. Electron number and organization. The number of electrons in an atom can be determined by looking at the atomic number. The atomic number tells you the number of protons. Atoms are neutral, so the number of protons must therefore equal the number of electrons. The electrons are organized into energy levels. Depending on the type of atom, there may be anywhere between 1 and 7 energy levels. These are determined by what row they are on the periodic table. Only the electrons in the outermost energy level, the valence electrons, get involved in chemical bonds. When looking at the periodic table, remember that all members of a group have the same number of valence electrons. So all members of group 17, shown here, have 7 valence electrons. This should be a review from what we studied in class in chapters 11 and 12. To bond or not to bond. The number of valence electrons determines whether an atom will form bonds. Members of the noble gas group have complete outer energy levels and normally do not form bonds. They can, it's just very rare and does not happen in nature. The outermost energy level is considered complete and stable if it has 8 valence electrons. An atom with fewer than 8 valence electrons will share, take, or give electrons in an effort to get a filled outer shell. This is what leads to a bond forming. Hydrogen and helium are special atoms because they only have 1 energy level. The first energy level can hold a maximum of 2 electrons because of its proximity to the very positive nucleus. The first level is therefore stable if it contains 2 electrons. The formula 2n squared, where n represents the number of energy levels, tells you the maximum number of electrons a particular energy level will hold. So if we're wanting to calculate that for energy level number 1, 2n squared, replace n with 1, so 1 squared is 1 times 2 is 2. For the second energy level, 2 squared is 4, 4 times 2 is 8, and so on and so forth. In the next class, we will discuss major concepts from this video. We will make flashcards together as a class. We will complete an activity related to what was covered in this video. If you have any specific questions or extensions you would like covered, please add them to the form linked on my blog.